Hello and welcome back to the short tutorial series from Debonair Training. My name is Greg Ekato and I'll be taking you through today on CSS to SAS um, short video series. So let's start. So following up from what we did the last video series, which was on HTML, we're now going to do CSS. CSS is an acronym. It stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It is essentially a type of file known to the industry, which encodes, um, which has information, set of information, text information, telling web pages what to look like, color, height, animation, and different kind of codes for that. Now, these styles can be written inline or they could be written with an external page that references the information we want to be impacted on the web page. Um, we'll be referencing a link, such a link, uh, which I'll click on now for you to see. But first of all, let's go over the topic. So we're going to go over what is CSS, which I've just told you about now. Next will be what is SAS, and then how to use CSS and SAS. And then finally, we'll go on to the demo with an assignment. Now, the assignment will be essentially following up on what we did previously with the HTML, which is the CSS practice page we created. We'll now be using CSS to further with it. So let's click on the link and take it from there. Right. So this is the CSS tutorial page from W Schools. It's essentially an encyclopedia for all web developers, which I mentioned last time. So just like with HTML, where you have to go through it, use your experience to learn as quickly as possible, the same applies with CSS. So uh, I'll be referencing here and I'll be showing you how to use this resource to actually learn and become an expert in CSS as well. So, um, so this is the page, and as you can see, it's got body tag. It's got a body element, and for this element, you've got background color light blue. For H1, which is HTML H1, here is an element selector, and here for the selector, you've got the color white, the text align center. For P, which stands for paragraph, HTML paragraph, that is, you have um, the information here, font family, bandana, and the font size 20 pixels. So if we click on here, you get to see exactly how that works. You see, so that's the first CSS page, the background color, the header text there, and this is the paragraph P text there. So that's just an example for you. Let's go back to uh, let's go back to the where we were before here. So I'll go into SAS now, which is SAS is short for syntactically awesome style sheets and is among the most popular CSS preprocessors. Essentially, it extends CSS by adding features of traditional programming languages, particularly object-oriented programming languages. For example, PHP, ASP.NET, Node, etc. So we are able to use this front end tool, this front end language, with back end languages because of SAS. Um, so it is compiled. This SAS is essentially compiled into CSS files, and the syntax is actually SCSS, which is a super form of CSS, And then what CSS is what it really boils down to, um, because CSS is what the web understands. So let's go to CSS elements. Okay, there are over 100 different variations of CSS elements that can be used to style a page. Essentially, it depends on what style you're trying to achieve. So let's start with the basic references from the previous link. Okay, for the demo of this assignment, we're going to go through quite a few of these elements: CSS properties, CSS selectors, which I mentioned earlier, CSS browser support, CSS functions, uh, and everything else mentioned here. So one of the reasons I'm using this PowerPoint um, to show you what we're doing here is so you can reference it yourself. And for those who do not want the audio, they can actually follow along and as well as rejig their memory just by going over this tutorial on their own in the space of 5 to 10 minutes. So the demo, let's go on to the demo now. Assignments. So we're going to go back to the CSS practice page which you created in the previous video, and then go through these four things. Style the header of the CSS element or group of elements, and then style the middle table to have gradients, include some animation, and then give an example of changing three properties, i.e. background color, image size, and border. Use the SAS mixing to output background color. So we'll continue with this video doing this assignment, okay?